Did you know that you can draw your embroidery designs with the help of Cricut, your embroidery software, and a really nice Cricut pen? I'm going to show you guys how in this video. All right, look how beautiful that is. The bottom, of course, is the stitches, and the top is the card that I made. So, hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue, and I am from OML Embroidery, and welcome to OML Embroidery's Crafty Extras. Now, I know that not everybody is going to be interested in the cutter machines, but you may get interested in the cutter machines by watching this video. It is a little on the aside, but I think presentation is everything. I think this looks amazing, and I think it's so much fun to do. So first, this gorgeous monogram is from Schuler Studios. So thank you, Schuler Studios, for having such gorgeous designs. All right, let's get to it then. Now, I am working in E4 because that's what I use on a daily basis. I do use the other software, but I use this one more and it worked out great. So I will give you pointers for your software as we go along. Now, I'd like to point out that you can use this technique, and I'm going to be doing the demo with Cricut. But I also have a Brother Scan and Cut, and I also have a Silhouette Cameo 3. So the basics of this will apply to each of the machines. The only one that is different is the Brother Scan and Cut DX Innovus Edition. And I will do a separate video on that because it's just for that machine. But that machine reads PES files, so you don't have to use your computer at all for it. You can, well, I mean, you have to transfer it, but you can transfer it from your Brother machine in PES, put it on a zip drive, pop it in, and it will read it. So you can apply this to everything. All right, let's get started. If you were to save the image just like this, how it is stitched, this is what it's gonna look like. And I mean, it's okay. I don't really like how this turned out. It was opposite from what I thought it would be, but it's still not very nice. So let's fix it. My idea for this is keep it simple. So I am going to do an outline for the bee, and that saves a lot of time. And make sure it is a running stitch on this one. And this is two separate parts, of course. There's a back stitch, and I'll show you how that looks in the final design. And you should change it. Now, I really like the motif stitches, but I'm not going to use this one because I don't think it would look great. You can try it, but I don't think it will. Along the lines of keep it simple, let's do it. Let's keep it simple. That's awesome. Remember to change the outline. When I clicked on it, you can see that it's backstitch, and I just want a single outline. So let's change this one to something different. What you're looking for is single lines that aren't too complicated. Now in your software, whatever software that you're using, they all have motif stitches, so you can figure out what motif stitch you want and play around with it. But you want a single line that's, you know, this one would probably look okay. And look, it does. I'm not ooh, Christmas trees. Ooh, I like that. I'm not recommending that you do two different ones, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I just want to do it for the experiment. So I really like this one. I really do. Let's change the back stitch to a single stitch. And as a matter of fact, you could even try deleting the outline. And while it doesn't, to me, look the greatest on this motif stitch, it would probably look fine on this one. So try it, see if you like it. It would be better to do it without, but let's do Control Z, and then there we go. Okay, so now that we have our design how we like it, we need an image of it. So I'm using Wilcom E4 because I know I can get the best image from E4. But your software will have an export function. And for E4, I'm going to go to File and Capture Virtual Decoration Bitmap. Now, Capture Design Bitmap will also work, but Virtual Decoration Bitmap has a bit higher of a resolution, so you can set the resolution as well. 300 dpi is perfect. I'm not going to worry about the size because when it comes into Cricut Design Center, it's going to change the size. It's just the way it is. So don't bother with that and click OK. And we are going to save it. Let's call it DB for Don Brown, and we'll call it 4 just to have it. And I'm just saving it on my desktop. DB4 already exists. Oh well, yeah, we'll replace it. So DB4 is the one that we're using. Now, if you don't have the export function, you can take a screenshot of it with your computer. You will have to do a little bit more work to fix it up so we can draw it in Cricut, but it'll still work. So just know you're exporting. And you can see I've played around with it a little. You want to go to upload, and what we want to do is upload our own image. You can see here that I was playing around with a whole bunch of different ones, testing out, and I actually drew freestanding lace. This is something that I created in the My Lace Maker by Designs in Machine Embroidery, or DIME. And it turned out really well. I was quite happy with it. And this is one I just played around with. This is a design I made for t-shirts that you can get on YouTube. And I just thought it was cool, and I was experimenting with the gorgeous motif stitches, and they all actually worked out really well. So let's go to Upload Image. Let's go to Browse, or we can drag it in. Let me find it. DB4 right here. You can just drag and drop and it brings it in. So I like how this looks. These squares back here mean that it's transparent. So we have a really good image here. And so select image type, high contrast colors, and transparent or monochrome background. That's what we have, and it's going to work really well. You can select these ones and it just works a little bit harder to, come up with the designs. You can see by the little icons here what the designs are meant to look like. So ours is really good. So continue. Now, if you had a background on your image, this is where you can select and erase the pieces because we don't want to color those pieces. So ours, we don't have to because it's all transparent. But there we go. Continue. Now, this is a print then cut image. So the idea of it is that it'll print it out exactly like this, and then you set a cut line to go around it. So that will work too. We want to save it as a cut image, and we will change it to a drawing image in the next screen. So save, make sure the green outline is around the one that you want. Go to save, and there we have it in here. So let's select it, and remember the green outline on it, and we're going to insert. And there we have it. Now, the design, like I said, is large. I didn't really worry about the size because we can safely resize it because it's not stitches anymore. It's a cutting pattern. Now, let's look at it from the cutting pattern point of view. All these black lines that you see are cut lines. So if you were cutting this out, the B would look fine, but the D is going to be confetti because it's going to cut everything. Well, how do you change it to draw? Go up here to line type and change it to draw. And then you can see, I'm going to make it bigger for a minute because I want to show you guys here. All of this, the black parts, they are going to draw out. So if you were making this really large, it's going to do the two lines. And you'll be able to see them. It's still going to do the two lines, but look, if you make it, a little bit smaller, the two lines are close enough together that they make a very nice line. So they kind of merge in, and that's all that you have to do it. So that was easy enough. As long as you get a good enough picture or get a good enough trace, it's going to work. So now it's really nice if you can add some lettering, and we might as well have it right the card for us while we are doing the design. Now, think of ideas. Presentation is everything. If you put a card with it and do like a gold sparkly pen, that will look very fancy and very classy. You can do it any way you want. It just adds to your creativity and it makes an absolutely fantastic gift. Now, I know this looks like a lot of steps to be able to do this, but once you get the hang of it, you can do it really quickly. So it's the same basic procedure for silhouette. You trace the image, then you bring it in, and then you tell it to draw and resize it and whatever and send it to your machine. And the same with the Brother Scan and Cut, except with the Brother Scan and Cut, if you have the top model, which is a DX225 Innovis edition, then you don't need to use any software. It will read the PES file, so you get to save all this time and the cutter does it for you. If you have Brother Scan and Cut any other version, it will not read the files, so you will have to take your image and you will have to bring it into whatever software you're using for your specific cutter machine, trace it, turn it to draw, and there you go. That's it. So let's add some lettering. Now we want this to write the lettering. Although you can get really fancy and create different lettering, you can go on to the Cricut All Access and you can perhaps find a card that's really fancy with really different things and just add this to it. However, all you have to do is take a piece of cardstock, fold it in half, and draw this on the front, and it's going to look amazing. Okay, back to lettering. So we are going to add lettering, and we are going to say special gift for. Now, I was playing around with it, so I actually already have a really nice handwriting for it. Now remember, it's not embroidery, so you can resize everything safely. I wouldn't make it teeny because you can't read it. So, common sense on that one. There we go. So that is a fantastic writing font. I would change the kerning just a little bit, although it looks good like this. And the kerning is the space between the letters so they touch. So what you're looking for in the writing font, and you can use any font that you want. I happen to have a whole bunch of them. So you can see here it says multi-layer cutting and writing. So if it says writing, you're going to be pretty good to go on that. You can also search them. Cricut ones, you can create a filter to only pull up white ones. That's fine. So single layer cutting. So I just wanted to show you guys. Now look, this is cutting. It's still cutting. Let's change it to draw, and that's what you get. It outlines the font, which still looks great. You know, you can we outlined the B so it kind of matches, but I think it's even nicer to pick a proper writing font. I don't have that one, so let's pick one that I do have. I love all of the creativity with the Cricut. I do use the other cutters quite a bit, but there's so many things you can make with it. Look, isn't that one nice? Go up here to where it said line type and change the color. If you don't change the color, I mean, if you want everything in black, it's fine. But if you do want the writing and this to be different, and you don't change it, it's not going to stop, right? So think of the embroidery machine. You need a color change to do applique sort of thing. It's the same thing. The machine will tell you, you know, to change pens. It's pretty good that way. So let's put it here. I kind of like that. We could leave it this way. I'm not necessarily going to do the D in DB in black, but I might. I'll choose my pens later. But I do have the separation I need. I really like this font. I'm happy with it. There's only one last thing to do before we take it to the machine. We want to attach them. So if you don't attach them, the system can set it up a little differently. Let me show you. So unattached, and we go to make it and see what it does. It moves it around, and that's not what that's not what we want. So I'm going to go to cancel, and I'm going to select both of them, and I'm going to attach. And then when we go to make it, it's exactly how we want. So don't forget that step. It's really important. So I just wanted to bring another image in. So I'm going to go to upload, and I'm going to go to, which one is this one? DB2. I'm pretty sure it's this one, and insert images, because I wanted to show you what it looks like with the back stitch around the outside. So you can, you know, it might look good in some aspects, but I'm going to make this really big. I'm going to delete it. Now this is cut, and we want it to draw, and see how it does the outside. I don't really like that. It's not very straight. If you look at ours, it's quite a bit straighter. And it is, you know, the back stitch isn't flat or even, and it's drawing that out. So I really didn't like it. So I'm gonna leave it out. I didn't really like it at all. And it's still, I think it would take a lot longer to do. And I prefer the outside line to be lovely and smooth like this. All right, so let's get rid of that. And we've got everything attached. And you can tell that it's attached because it's all in one. And if you look down at the bottom right-hand corner, your option is detached. So it is attached. Let's go to make it. And it's going to set it up for you, which is great. Now, if you're making, you know, a specific card, you could have drawn out a square and make it a cut line so it'll cut it out. You could find a card or a free card on the Cricut site and just added this on top of it. Make sure you attach and do it that way. I'm just going to leave mine the way it is, and I'm going to put the paper in the long way, so it's 8.5 by 11, so this way, and then what we have to do is rotate it. Perfectly rotate it, because otherwise it won't be right. And I'm going to put it at the top. So then I'm going to make a fold in the card. We may want to make that a little bit smaller, but make a fold in the card halfway. So yeah, it's just about the right size. We may want to make it a little bit smaller. Move to another mat. You could do that as well. I think I'm going to take a minute, go to cancel, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and I'm going to rotate it in here. Might as well go all the way if you're going to do this, right? And there we go. And then I don't have to do anything. And it's a perfect, so it's 8.5, and the card's going to be folded this way. So we have it just about right. I may want to move it here. It is a lot easier to do if you cut out your card, but moving on. So let's go to continue, and I'm just going to show you what this part does. So turn on your machine. You can hear mine warming up in the background. Turn it on and it will connect. And all you have to do is set your material. Now this is really important if you're cutting out, and actually it's really important in general. So let's see, we have cardstock. I'm going to be using light cardstock. Done. There we go. And then it tells you what to load in, and it's going to give you a pen change. Now this is the colors that I picked on the board. It doesn't know the difference between the colors you picked while you're putting it together and what you actually use in the machine. The important part is we got a color stop on it. So it tells you that the black pen is going first, and the additional tools you need is the candy crystal. So it was the green color that I picked, and the machine will stop and tell you to change it, which is awesome. So put your cardstock on the mat and load it in, and then you can press go. So let's take it to the machine. And now for the fun part, watching this guy. I was gonna say stitch out. I've said it a million times and had to edit it out every time. Draw out. So I'm using Cricut metallic pens, which are really nice, and just a plain black piece of cardstock. You can see it's coming together. It is sped up and cut down a little bit. It takes about 15 minutes to do, and it's really fun to watch. There is my pen color change, and it's doing the lettering. Now it looks, it's hard to see it on camera, but I used kind of like a sparkly gold, and it actually looks really good. It just doesn't show up really well. And there you go. There you have it. I love the swirls. I love how they turned out. I think that's fantastic. And I think I did a great job on the other motif stitch. So it turned out really well, and it's a lot of fun to do. The only mistake that I made was that I have it turned the wrong way. I wasn't thinking straight about it, but what are you gonna do? Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys will get drawing your embroidery designs. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!